Blog Talk Radio.
Start the party.
All right, welcome to The Balance. My name is tom-marquis, El Presidente. It is Saturday morning. It is the 4th of July. We're getting a little bit of a late of a start today, but only by about 30 minutes, so not a big deal. It is what it is. Happy 4th of July weekend to you. I hope everyone stays cool, especially if you're around probably anywhere in the United States. It's going to be hot this weekend. I know here in Indianapolis, where we're based out of, we're going to see temperatures of about 100 or so, and with humidity, it's going to just get freaking hot. So stay hydrated, and that doesn't mean with beer. Well, swap your beer, swap your water. Hope everyone has a good 4th of July coming up on Wednesday. Also coming right up is the NBA free agency. We're going to get into that here in just a moment with grant-afseth. We're going to break down all these free agency options. And, we're also on LeBron Watch 2018. Indy Car on a break. NASCAR up in the Windy City at Chicagoland. Also got some news from the NFL this week. So we're going to be talking with ed-kracz, our official NFL contributor. Rick-riggin, our executive producer, is going to try to pop his head in here. He's on vacation this week, so we'll see if we can't get him on. Also, at the end of the hour, at the end of the show, if you will, the last quarter of the show, if you will, Mo from the BS Sports Show going to join us. We're going to continue our conversation with the NBA draft and also have our weekly MLB talk. My name is tom-marquis, El Presidente. We'll be right back right after this on the Balance Radio Network.
The Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active-duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
It's double trouble, double the fun at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. See the largest antelope on Earth, the giant eland, and the ugliest creature on Earth, the African warthog. There's so much to see and do, including the Midwest's only drive-through safari. Feed the animals, see live educational shows, feel the excitement, have your picture taken with a python or cockatoo, feel the adventure. Shop the Symbol Lodge gift shop with items available from around the globe. Visit the snack bar or picnic facilities. Enjoy a pony or camel ride. Or cheer your favorite porker on to victory in the famous Pork Chop Down. Bring your family to see the rare and exotic animals at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. Just take Route 2 to the Route 53 North exit and follow the sign. Only 17 miles west of Cedar Point via Route 6. Open every day, rain or shine.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to geico.com and you can save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.
When you don't go to geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming, and I'm loud. Roar.
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
And welcome back to The Balance. My name is Tom-Marquis, El Presidente. It is Saturday morning. Let's jump right into this. Joining us now, I believe, are you at home in Dallas? Grant-afseth joins us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Are you back at school in Arizona? Are you at home in Dallas? Where are you at?
I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I go back for school mid-August.
Oh, there you go. You got a little bit of time left then, yeah. Soaking up the rays, that's for sure. Happy 4th of July weekend to you. Well, let's get into this talk. Certainly, we'll kind of just no particular order, but certainly some of the news that broke this week. We saw Paul George opting out there at Oklahoma City. And we saw LeBron James, no surprise there, opting out at Cleveland. Certainly a lot of conversations to be going on about the NBA free agency. So before we get into these individual players, go ahead and talk with us about what we can expect in 2018 free agency for the NBA.
Well, I think something that's interesting to think about is last night on ESPN, Adrian Wojnarowski was kind of saying how since the spending has been so bad from teams in the last few seasons, the free agency period could stretch out for like quite a bit longer than what it normally does, and the deals are probably going to be quite a bit less. So I think it'll be kind of a slow process outside of those like LeBron James, Paul George type of guys.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the free agents that really can sign wherever they want as soon as LeBron James makes his decision. Let's face it, when LeBron James makes his announcement, wherever that might be, all the dominoes are going to fall. So the first domino to fall will be LeBron James. So let's talk about his possibilities. Pretty much he could go wherever he wants. So I think Houston. I think every team could technically be in play, if you will. But let's talk realistically about the teams that are in play. L.A., everybody knows about that. Houston, I think there might be the option that even though he opted out and decided to look into free agency, maybe he decides to stay with Cleveland. What are some? We're also hearing about Houston as well. So let's talk about LeBron James. Where's he going to land? What's his possibilities? What's your gut feeling? What do you think we can look for from LeBron James?
I think he'll end up going to the Lakers, and I think based off what I've been seeing, it seems like it's kind of narrowed down because he opted out, and it makes it logistically harder to end up being dealt to a team, like the Houston Rockets, who, have a lot of salary spending already. I think it would be, Los Angeles Lakers number 1, and then like Cleveland Cavaliers 2, and then Philadelphia 76ers with lower odds than the other two.
So I lost my place. Let's talk about some of the other free agents. So just go ahead and let's talk about Paul George. Go right ahead. Are we starting to see the formation of a super team out in LA?
I think you could. I think none of those guys want to be the first one to go without knowing that the other one is going. So, it's an interesting situation. I think because I personally think that this kind of sounds funny, But it seems like ESPN's been building up the chance of Paul George returning to Oklahoma City, and they're also running a 3-part documentary for Paul George. I kind of feel like he's going to go to the Lakers, but it's being built up as if there's a false chance that he'll come back, so people will watch the documentary. So I think it'll end up, I think LeBron and Paul George will end up going there. I just think it's kind of funny how, when you think about it, George was, his people were found guilty of tampering to go to the Lakers. I just don't think that he's not going to go.
You don't think that Paul George will go to the Lakers, or you don't think that he won't go to the Lakers?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't make that clear. I was saying I don't think there's a chance that he won't go to the Lakers. I think it's kind of like being built up, like the odds of him returning to Oklahoma City, kind of like on a false premise, I feel like.
Well, we're talking with Grant-afseth. Obviously, he's in college studying sports media and sports communication. We always like to have him on. He writes for the Pacers, and of course, he has a spot with the Kokomo Tribune, I believe, with the Pacers as well. Certainly very knowledgeable on the NBA, so I'd like to talk with him certainly during the NBA season. So we get into this crazy season, if you will, with the NBA free agencies. And, like I said, things are starting to get crazy. So we got LeBron James, Paul George. Here's the other one that everybody's talking about. It could be that other big domino to the Lakers, and that's Kawhi Leonard. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. It's only Saturday. So let's talk a little bit about Leonard and how he fits into this mix of this triangle headed to L.A., possibly anyway.
I think it's kind of an interesting situation to look at because obviously, it's kind of like how Indiana was last summer. They didn't, Paul George wanted to go to the Lakers. They didn't want to send him to where he wanted to go, and they didn't want to send him to the same conference. But I feel like the Spurs are kind of in a tough spot because of how restricted a lot of the teams are around the league with their spending, and it just doesn't make sense to make that kind of a risk, especially when they have seen how when you make that kind of risk with that sort of trade, seeing how Paul George will probably end up with the Lakers after 1 year. I think, the second that, LeBron James or Paul George goes to the Lakers, I feel like the leverage for the Spurs drops because there's no longer this urgency for the Lakers to have to trade for Kawhi Leonard in order to draw those guys in. So I feel like if they can just get one of them at least to come in, and that lowers the price, and then I think it makes that situation more in play for it to, happen.
Well, certainly we'll see what happens with the Holy Trinity, if you will, LeBron James, Paul George, and Leonard, because certainly that's kind of going to be the driving ship, and we'll see how all of that plays out together. But believe it or not, I know this is hard to believe, Grant, but there are other players inside the NBA. We saw this week from the New York Times article that the Warriors will make a run at DeAndre. Thoughts? DeAndre Jordan.
I think it's tough to see them being able to, you hear all this talk of them having potential financial issues down the line, keeping their core together, and then you see them potentially adding to that. I don't know, I don't know if it would be for multiple years or what, or if it would just be for the mid-level exception. But maybe the center market probably isn't too great, out there. So maybe DeAndre is looking for 1 year and then to hit the open market next summer when more teams have salary cap spending. I kind of don't blame him if you're already had a pretty big deal earlier. Might as well just go out and get the ring, I guess.
Well, absolutely. And so here's the thing about the Warriors. The Warriors are going to do what the Warriors do, and really until they prove us otherwise, they are the best team in the NBA. The Mavericks declined Dirk's option and will renegotiate. Immediately after DeAndre Jordan made his decision to opt out of his contract with the Clippers and became a free agent, the Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki reportedly agreed to exercise his $5 million team option for next season. Dirk and the Mavericks will renegotiate a new deal for 2018-19, which will be 21st